I want to talk about Charlie McAvoy and Hampus Lindholm. On Monday, both were on the ice, both in regular practice jerseys, which was a change for Hampus Lindholm. It's the first time we've seen him in a regular practice jersey. Hasn't played in a couple of months, obviously. He was injured on November 12th in St. Louis. Haven't seen him since. He's worked his way back. He's been at practice. He's been in the non-contact. But Monday was the first time he was in a regular jersey. And then Charlie McAvoy back at practice. This is, he hadn't seen him since January 11th against the Florida Panthers. He went on injured reserve. And so both players not an option because they didn't travel with the team to Buffalo. Joe Sacco said they weren't going to travel. They're not an option. And so you're looking forward to the possibility of them returning at some point. And man, I mean, you talk about a Bruins team right in the middle of a playoff race. All these points are important. And to get those two players back, that would be huge.
No, absolutely massive. And I know that Joe Sacco had mentioned that there's no definitive timeline for getting those two guys back. I think typically in the past, when players come back from injury and become full participants in practice, you can start to put that timeline together when they will return. So I would imagine it's getting close. Again, it's so difficult to put a date on it. So the Bruins are going to play Tuesday in Buffalo. They're going to host the Winnipeg Jets on Thursday, and then they're going to head to Madison Square Garden on Saturday. Is it possible we could see one or both this week? I think it's certainly possible. I'm sure one of the things that, in addition to these guys getting back up to game shape, and it's going to take a while because there's just no way to simulate that in practice or on a bike or in the weight room, that as long as there are no setbacks and these guys are able to get into game shape, that, hey, listen, maybe there's a chance we see one or both at some point later this week, maybe by the end of the week. But I think that that's incredible news here for the Bruins, because the other thing, Adam, anytime that you have a team that experiences injuries, and injuries are not an excuse around the National Hockey League. They are not. You have to figure out a way to cobble together points without missing key players in your lineup. And it's certainly really hard without two top defensemen. But I think as the sample size gets bigger, it gets harder and harder to compensate for the loss of that. So maybe the Bruins are ending that point where they can maybe start to filter one of those guys back in, because they've done a remarkable job, certainly here in the last two games, of keeping things to the outside, keeping things patient. They've gotten some excellent goaltending here in the month of January from both Jeremy Swayman and Jonas Korpisalo. If you look at their save percentages, Korpisalo's at .910, Swayman is at .913. Those are good numbers here for the Bruins, but I think they've been aided here in the last couple of games by a Bruins team that has been more dedicated defensively. And when they play that style, they're in every single game.
Nobody has faced more shots on net in the month of January than Jeremy Swayman, over 300 now, which is the most he's ever faced in his entire career. And so you take that into consideration, the fact that he's facing about 35 shots or so on net per start, and he's got a 913 save percentage, certainly telling as to how good he's been. And Jonas Korpisalo, you mentioned him shutting out his former team, the Ottawa Senators, and he admitted that there was a little extra incentive to play well against that team, and he certainly showed up. And that stat about Korpisalo with his third shutout of the year, and he's made 15 starts. It's the fifth fastest in Bruins history. And so the three shutouts are a career high in any single season for Korpisalo. So certainly relishing his role with the Bruins as the backup goaltender and coming through. But, we started this conversation talking about, the hopeful return sooner rather than later of Charlie McAvoy and Hampus Lindholm. Both spoke after practice on Monday. Here's what Charlie McAvoy had to say. And he also had some other news to share.
Me and Kylie welcomed a beautiful baby boy into the world. Yeah, Reese Michael McAvoy, and Kylie did absolutely amazing. And everybody's healthy, baby's healthy, so we're really happy. And there's no words. We're thrilled right now. And obviously, timing never good to get hurt, but where we are now, I got to be there for that and see that and be able to support her. And hopefully we'll be able to go home today and and then also get back to playing. So all amazing things right now. Yeah.
Can't I get to see the baby?
Yeah, my mom was here yesterday before she went home, and she got to meet her. Kylie's mom and sister got to meet him. So, it's truly incredible. Yeah, to see it all happen. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, the name, Charlie?
Reese Michael McAvoy, RHYS.
When was he born?
5:51 yesterday. Yes,
5:51.
Yeah. Early morning. He came fast. He's ready to go. Just amazing. Yeah, Sunday morning. Thank you guys.
As far as the hockey, how do you feel?
I feel great. Yeah, today was nice to get the practice with the team in and just check one of the last remaining boxes, and then I'll continue that process this afternoon, and then just making sure we're okay, doctors and stuff, and then we can meet these guys when they get back from Buffalo and just get back as fast as I can, but feeling good, and it was exciting to be back out there today with everybody. Kind of a whirlwind, but good to be out there. Yeah.
This may not be at the forefront of your mind, but the Four Nations is coming up as well. Do you feel like you're going to be fine for that?
Yeah. We knew relatively early on, what we had going on, and that it wasn't going to be a problem for that. It was just something that we needed to take care of, and the timing was going to be fine. So, like I said, it sucks when you gotta get hurt and you gotta take some time, but I'm doing great, and life is good, man. Yeah.
How proud were you of the D-Corps and just the way they've been able to hold the fort while you and Hampus home?
Yeah, they've really done an amazing job. There's no secret. Like, our team is built on defense. The only way that we're gonna be able to have success really is if we're defending our end, and these guys have raised up to that challenge, and we've had some great efforts up front, timely, and that one line, Geeks and Boss, really are playing amazing right now. But I'm so proud of the D and the goalies right now, team. Obviously the forwards, you don't just do it, D and goalies. So committed to defense right now. It's been great to see, and that's got to be our staple. So they're doing great right now.
Congratulations to the McAvoy family welcoming baby boy into the world. 7 pounds, 12 ounces, 19 3/4 inches. So a big boy. The family's got to see him. So congratulations on Charlie McAvoy. And, one of the things that he talked about was, watching this team and, some of the guys step up. And, Joe Sacco had talked about that as well, Judd, particularly on the blue line with Nikita Zadorov and Michael Callahan, another player called up from Providence that has, filled a role for this team. And the one thing that, Sacco had said, he's like, look, we're asking these guys to fill these roles. We're asking more minutes, but we don't want them to play outside of who they are. And I think that was a point of emphasis for the interim head coach.
That's true, but he is asking them to play more minutes than they would be accustomed to if the Bruins were at full health. So that is a little bit different.
Right, which is what I mentioned off the top. More minutes. But again, you don't want to all of a sudden, if you're Michael Callahan, you don't want to all of a sudden try to do something maybe offensively, pinch down the wall that you normally wouldn't do. He is a responsible defenseman, and that's who he is.
Absolutely no, Adam. But I think, and I've had this conversation with Bob Beers, my old partner, because he was in that spot many times, that even though you try and play the same role that you normally do, the more often that you're out there, things can change a little bit, and sometimes you can get diminished returns. So credit to those guys and the way that they played. I think Nikita Zadorov in particular has really risen to the occasion, which is what you want. That game that he played against the Ottawa Senators at TD Garden may have been his best as a Bruin. And not just because he got in Brady Tkachuk's ear before the puck dropped, but it was the way he played, how firm he was, finishing checks. He didn't have to kill anybody back in his own zone, snapping passes, playing in straight lines. And the other thing about that performance, if you remember, the Bruins had to kill off a 5-on-3 late for just over a half a minute to secure the lead and secure the victory. And then go back, or I guess from the Ottawa game, move forward. For us, it's back, to the game against the Colorado Avalanche. even though the Bruins were outshot in that game, I believe it was 28-15. How many great saves did Jeremy Swayman have to make against the Avalanche? I think the save of the game for us that Brick talked about was the stop he made maybe on one of the very first shifts, and that was Casey Middlestat. For the most part, the Bruins did an excellent job as five-man units, winning wall battles, getting pucks out, blocking shots, taking away lanes, those rebound opportunities. So they were able to string that together. And as a result, the Bruins recorded a 3-1 come from behind victory. A couple of these victories, by the way, the Bruins have fashioned here in the third period, coming from behind.
Yeah.
You know, I know that one of those came against the San Jose Sharks, but it's still hard overall. The Bruins have 5 come from behind victories when they trail entering the third period. There's only a handful of teams, in fact, I think I wrote it down, that have more. Only Toronto, Vegas, and Philly have more come from behind victories in the third period, and they only have one more, and that's 6. So I think that's incredibly impressive here for the Bruins. But they need more of this because I keep thinking about the schedule, how many games they've played, the teams that are right behind them, and then it's just pure math. What will it take to get into the playoffs?